Welcome to this week's Ask EMBN show. I'm joined by Blake Sampson from GMBN.
Yes, you can't get rid of me that quick.
No, I'm trying, but we've got loads of cool stuff coming up this week.
Yeah, we've got Fox 40s on a Caneva and Energy Regen.
Yeah, and we're talking about jumping techniques and MX versus e-bike, all coming up on this week's Ask EMBN show. First question coming in from our regular guy, Ian Wright. He's asking, what other exercises and activities would you recommend to build up endurance?
Ooh.
Blake, what do you do to keep fit?
For me, I like to go to the gym. Anytime fitness, I love going there. Doing a lot of cardio. It's not all about muscle build and muscle mass for me. It's all about building in my my endurance. And I also like to ride to work a bit on occasions when the weather's great. And also, a bit of XC, bit of cross country, bit of road bike. I love road bike.
Mixing it all up. Yeah, I think the same for me. I basically try and make, like the e-bike can obviously make things a little bit easier, but if you go the opposite way, like I ride a lot of motorbike trial stuff, so hulking that great big heavy motorbike around the woods is obviously harder than an e-bike. So when you switch back to an e-bike, it all becomes quite easy.
Yeah.
And obviously if you ride a standard bike as well, it's going to become harder, then jump on the e-bike, so it becomes easier. So munching in the miles on cross country is a really good way to improve endurance, and then you can go probably twice as long on your e-bike. So yeah, mixing it all up, making it harder.
So today, myself and Alan Millway are going to be showing you the 3 different types of ride you can go on your e-bike to maximise your fitness.
Right, this next question is coming in from Stu, and he's saying that he's been seeing a lot of people out there throwing Fox 40s onto their Canevos. So now he's saying, what are the pros and cons for running a big downhill fork like that one on his bike? What pros?
But I think you definitely need to be looking at the style of riding you're doing. Are you actually doing it for looks alone, or do you need that 203mm travel fork over the 180? You know, there's definitely pluses and minuses to doing it. So take a look at your riding. Need to think if you actually need to make that swap.
I'm going to say it looks sick.
Definitely looks
Plus,
pretty cool.
if you live in the Alps or somewhere that's a bit mountainous or rough, you can go do a lot of downhill riding. It's going to definitely help you with all that front suspension and stiffen up that front, because he is running a 20mm axle compared to what comes with the bike originally.
Yeah, definitely. The cons of it, obviously, you're going to be adding 23mm travel to the bike, so in turn you're going to slacken the head angle out, which is good at high speed, but on the slower, turns and stuff, the bike's going to be a bit more raked out, so it becomes a little bit more of a handful. And as Blake said, the fork runs a 20mm axle on it, so you're going to be needing to swap your hub out, because you'll be running a 15mm hub on there at the minute. Front brake hose could be a little bit short as well, so you might need to factor into your budget a new front hub or a front wheel build, and maybe a longer front brake hose too. But yeah, looks cool, but definitely a little few things to consider before you make the swap.
It looks expensive.
Paul McConnell's been in touch. How are you guys managing your chain and cassettes? I covered about 1,000 miles on my Levo, and I'm on my 3rd chain and cassette. I've been told don't change the chains at all and wait for both the chain and cassette to start slipping and change it all together. That method is cheaper in the long run. What are your thoughts? Good question, Paul. Personally, I do exactly that. I wear the whole lot out, replacing the chainring, cassette, and chain at the same time. But you're talking about buying 3 chains. Obviously, 3 chains, you're talking about like around 30 quid for a standard kind of chain. So 3 chains, that's £90. And if you look at that cost versus the cassette, there isn't going to be too much in it, I don't think. I know the cassettes can be super expensive, but yeah, there's different ways of doing it.
I spoke to Doddy, and he did suggest that he would do 3 chains per cassette. Because the cassette's the most expensive thing. It's like, I don't know.
So it all balances out in the end. It's really close, but you could save a few quid doing it that way. But there's a lot of faffing around, changing chains and cleaning stuff. It's totally your call, but a good thing is you really need to keep on top of degreasing and lubing that chain every single ride.
Well, Doddy did a rad video on this, so take a look at this.
Now, ideally, you want to be replacing your chain when it's about 0.5, certainly no more than 0.75, because beyond that, it's going to be too stretched and you're going to be wearing out your cassette and your sprockets at the same time, which, if you work it out, that's quite a lot of money to spend in one hit. So if you replace your chain before it gets to 0.75, you're going to get at least 2 chains to 1 cassette. Saves you money in the long run.
So Gibby Kerwin has been in touch. Why don't we see energy return systems on e-bikes? Like with many modern cars, you could be recharging the battery on the easier bits of trail by pedaling, then using it on the tougher bits. Then it would be truly free of the plug and have limitless range.
Now that is a good question. Why haven't they got it on there? Well, to be honest, the whole system, I'm guessing, with that system, especially in a car, is fine because you've got all that moving mass that will generate that power under its own steam, whereas you're going to have to be doing all of the work on a light bike, and all that gubbins on there is going to make that bike extremely heavy.
Yeah, so it makes it heavy, and the resistance as well, the actual power that you've got to put into the bike to get some return on the battery is going to be a massive amount, and obviously it's you against the bike fighting it. It'd almost be like riding with the brakes on the amount of resistance. It has been done on a few systems before. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it has definitely been done, and it has been scrapped because the resistance was so high.
Yeah, it like contradicts itself, really.
Ashley Holland, great show, guys. Cheers. Not got an e-bike yet, wait until next year. But he's wondering, if the speed limiter went up, would the companies be able to update your bike to the new limit through the Mission Control app?
Well, I'm going to say yes, because that's the great thing about e-bikes. It's all electronic. You can just do it through your app, do it through your phone. It'll just come up with an update. It'll update it automatically. Also, if your bike doesn't have an app, you can just go to your local bike shop, plug it in, or just plug it into your laptop, depending if you know how to do that.
Definitely,
and it's updated through the system. This question is coming in from eBike. He says he's still searching for a dealer from Cologne to Frankfurt, a place where he can go and ride and test ride a bike. The bike he's looking for is a Bros Trail Enduro bike with a Bros motor, but with a non-integrated battery. That's a lot to ask for.
It is a lot to ask. And I had a quick search around on Google. Obviously, there's quite a few bikes that do use a Bros system. You've got Fantic, you've got Bulls, and of course, Specialized use a Bros motor. But not a lot of them actually use an external battery. And it's making me wonder why you actually need an external battery. Is it because you're going to be doing bigger rides and thinking about taking a spare battery with you and the time it takes to change? But actually, the Specialized system in particular, and some of the Bulls bikes and Fantic are all quite easy to swap a battery in and out of. Scott's been in touch. Would you agree the modern e-bikes are the best thing to happen to cycling since the high-wheel bicycles of the 1870s were replaced with two wheels of the same size? I definitely do.
Hi! Yes, 100%. I do say so myself too.
Yeah, it's opened up a massive world for everyone. We're seeing people go further. We're seeing people socially ride together. It really has like blown up the world of cycling, and loads of people have switched across to e-bikes.
Yeah, my dad comes riding with me now because he can.
My dad comes riding with me because he can.
Yeah.
Steve Gill comes riding with me. He's 50 years old.
Steve
he comes
Jones
riding.
comes riding with us.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing all the old guys along. It's sharing the ride. That's what it's all about. Max has been in touch. He's having trouble getting enough pop-off jumps and trail features on his Lapierre Overvolt. Do I need any particular modification techniques, such as more preload or adjustments to my suspension? I'm 68 kg, running 30% sag front and rear on 150mm travel forks and a Monarch RT Deluxe shock with 2 volume spacers in it. So he's done a lot to his suspension.
He's concentrating too much on the technology of his bike to make him jump. I think he should reel it back and start to learn the technique on how to jump first. Yeah, so not all about the bike.
No, exactly. I think a lot of people focus a lot and blame their bike for like wrong jump techniques, but you really need to, like as Blake says, wind it back, take a look at your technique, because there's a lot of problems you're actually doing before you even think about your bike. So, but we've done a really good video on that. You want to check that one out. We all know that feeling of flying down your local trail, flowing down it, but then you see that jump in front of you. It's that time when the e-bike, when the wheels come off the ground, it can be pretty intimidating, especially if you've got the wrong techniques. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at your common jumping mistakes and how we're going to rectify them. So there you go, that's the end of the Ask EMBN show. Don't forget, if you guys got any questions you want to get asked on EMBN, drop them in the comments box below, #AskEMBN, and we'll get back to you ASAP. If you've enjoyed today's show, make sure you subscribe to EMBN by clicking the globe in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, and if you want to stick around, this one's for you, Max B. How to jump, click over here.